that has to come clear.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, may I just start by saying that so far I think the county government has made a step towards the right direction by bringing forth a new investor in town. And there's only one area which I don't get clearly about the lease. The secretary to the committee said that the lease period is 50 years. When Waziri was explaining his bit, he said the lease ends in 2029. Oh, I had 29. It is 59. Oh, if it is 59, then it is correct. Thank you.
You are ready for inputs?
Yes, Chairman.
Yes.
Kisumu, the MOU, the Chair, and honorable members, is between Kisumu County Government and ADITUS. The role of TEACH here, because it's a training institution, it will be part of the training process within the manufacturing industry that's going to be established. So what brings us together with GLUC is that they are selling the land to us, and that land, the proximity of that land to GLUC is just within GLUC. So ADITUS is not part of the MOU. We probably made a mistake by using the word tripartite. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable member, something is coming out very interesting here because the county government is buying land. Is that not so, Waziri? And we all understand the challenges that we have in terms of finances. While the same county government, I believe, has several pieces of land. Are we together? Why, in your own wisdom, use public funds to buy land while we have several pieces of land where this kind of manufacturing plant could be established? We are not opposing, but just convince us why buy land while in the real sense we have land.
Chair and honorable members, in the year 2023, we advertised for expression of interest for potential people who are willing to sell the land to set up the proposed project. It was a journey. We could not get any response which was positive for us to be able to get that land. That's how GLUC later in early 2024 were able to express the interest to sell this parcel of land. Back to your question, Chair. And in this county government, we don't have 10 acres of land more to set up this facility. There's no land which is suitable for this facility. So that's how we ended up to procure the land for the willing sellers for this land. We budgeted for it in our department in 2023. Actually, for the information, in the budget of 2022-2023, there was budgetary allocation of buying land for this facility. Did not materialize. It was when it came to the office, it was still in the budget of 2023-2024, and that's how we ended up initiating this process of purchasing this land. Thank you.
Chair, I think allow me to disagree with the chief officer lands. as a committee, I think we've been praying that we come up with a strong land bank. We can only build this strong land bank if we get out of our way, we get out of our offices, and actually identify that which belongs to the county government. But the chief officer saying that we don't have land to a tune of 10 acres. Chief, your data bank is empty because you don't want to fill it. In my ward, I have a section of my ward for Kisumu County Council, that is now Kisumu County, with a land area of 89 acres, a place called Warado. And now the national government have even written to the Department of Trade to allow them invest on that land. 89 acres. The same ward, we have a land to the tune of 75 acres at Holo, where the then governor, Honorable Anguma, had made partnership to make a solar plant on that area. 75 acres. That is just in one ward. And we've been saying that we should liaise with the national government and identify these lands and fix them in our data bank, so that some of these monies we spend in buying land can be utilized in some other areas where we have shortage. But when it comes to land, I think we have enough. Only that we don't want to identify them and actually demarcate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. That is Honorable Moses Chele. Chief, what you just said, is it true that the county government of Kisumu has no land that could amount to about 10 acres that was needed for that establishment of that pharmaceutical plant? We want to get this record straight. Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry. Before you answer, there's a member who has a question.
Chair, just on the same, I think also I want to disagree with the Chief Officer lands. I think in this county we have several spaces. Maybe they have not mapped them. Honorable Chela has just mentioned his ward. Even in my ward, we have several spaces which, and I think this cut goes to the 35 wards. We have spaces. So if there was an intention of establishment of such, maybe another reason would have surfaced, that it needs to be near Gluck. That's why we have to buy again another piece of land near Gluck for training purposes. But saying that we don't have such a space, 10 acres, I think that is really not right. And if that is the situation, Chair, we really would demand that we map all our spaces. There are several belonging to the county council, the defunct county councils like Nyando, Moroni, Kisumu County Council, the municipality. Maybe for municipality within the city, you cannot have such a space. But for the county council, Kisumu, Nyando, Moroni, Aero, there are several spaces. So I think we need to really deal with that. And Chief, I would request you map all our spaces so that when an investor comes, then there is a list of several options. So you just go to the options and get whichever you want. Thank you, Chair.
Any other member? Honorable Zach Okoyo. Zach, I request that you introduce yourself. Huh?
Thank you, Chair. Sorry I came late. My name is Honorable Zach Okoyo, member representing Central Kisumu Ward. I'm a member of this committee. Chair, I don't think that statement is right. And coming from a chief officer who has been in this office for this time, then I think he should have consulted further and know if we don't have such a parcel of land. In most of our wards, we have parcels of land which belong to Kisumu County. The only problem with our departments, they don't want to do what they are supposed to do. They should have identified these lands, keep them in record of their database, so that such a project comes, they know where to take it. I don't want to say my ward has land, but it's obvious I also have a very big land in my ward which could have such a project. But because of maybe their reasons which they have not told us, they may have a reason. But what my colleague said that maybe the project must be near the university, that is very wrong. I know projects which are aligned to institutions, but they should not be that close to that institution for operations. So I think chief officers should tell us the truth why they are going for that land. Thank you.
Thank you. It's coming out very clear that honorable members of this committee are not convinced. One, and why settling on that piece of land? The reasons that you are giving us, that it is its proximity to glucose is not holding water. Because when you talk about training, training people, maybe in terms of medical issues, any area, if we have those kind of people can go to any piece of any area. That is, maybe if this plant is established in Miwani and we want to train people, they will go there. So the reason that because it is near Gluck is not convincing. Number two, you have members mentioning, and Waziri also believe you know that the county government has a number of pieces of land, in fact, vast pieces of land that are idling. So, in your own wisdom, you have not convinced us. Just convince us why you decided to buy a piece of land worth millions of shillings, and you are also struggling in your department with the deficit, budget deficits. Yet, the county government has pieces of land where this project could be established. You know, this report, we are supposed to table it in the floor of the House. And you've already seen only 5 members are against this kind of purchase. Now, when you float it to 47 members, what happens? So you've not convinced us.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, let me withdraw my initial statement indicating that the county does not have 10 acres and above. It's true, the lands are there. But the reason why we settled on this zone, one of the requirements set up such a manufacturing plant in a zone area which is zoned for industrial use, so that it's compatible with other land uses within that locality. As indicated earlier, the first advertisement for expression of interest, we received other responses within the Kibos area, but we realized those land encumbrances and others were found from the soil suitability test which were done, they were not suitable for proposed projects. The proposed projects is the reason why it is proposed in that locality. There are a lot of considerations. Once we are talking about manufacturing of the drugs in Africa, So there's a consideration of transportation of these drugs not only in the country but also the country. So there's a consideration of transportation of air transport, proximity to the airport, and other supporting infrastructure services within that locality. So there were quite a number of factors. Of course, in the issue of the industrial area, the land which has no encumbrances, the road accessibility, connectivity to the power line, which requires over 3-phase power connectivity, water supply, adequate water supply. Not only the bore, because they even indicated they don't want the borehole water, is not suitable for manufacturing of the drugs. They require the water which either is spring water and other water which can meet the lab tests for these drugs. There was a lot of consideration, Chair, for it to be settled in that location. Secondary, I agree with the recommendation. There's a county asset committee, which has a director, who are updating all the county assets register of both movable and immovable assets, so that we have a land bank of where the parcels of land are. Because even in our department, we have received a lot of requests from the honorable members to buy land even to set up ECD classrooms in our department. They can attest to that. Some of these land have encumbrances, have been encroached, others don't have title, others have disputed ownership. So we are working on that, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. This is becoming a little bit interesting anyway. Yes, Honorable Moses.
Chair, it is amusing that youth is us now diverting from this earlier session that we lack land, but now gives us reasons, other reasons why that site is preferred. And I want to believe it is not the author, it's not the author of the requirements for such a site. The author is the end user. Could there be any kind of communication from the end user, that is the Department of Health, or your department, advising you that we need land, but for this project, the kind of land we need requires A, B, C, D as you enumerate them, so that it does not come from you, because you are not the end user. You are just facilitating them to get a space to do that business. Is there any document from the Department of Health highlighting those things you are mentioning now? Unless it is just verbal and created now. Because this thing is a big project and every communication must be documented. And for us to be convinced otherwise, then such a communication should have come from the end user. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Let me give Honorable Bill, then I'll come back to you, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I came late. I'm a friend of the committee, and maybe to introduce myself, I'm Bill Odhiambo, MCA for Kubura. From his submission, he has talked about some report. I wanted to support what the honorable member said. He has talked about a report showing that that place is more suitable than other places. Maybe he should give us that information, that report, because saying it verbally without a supporting document, it doesn't, it is maybe, it comes out as maybe just a verbal communication. It's not something that is real. So if he can give us that report, I think it will be very helpful for this.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. You know, from the Chief Officer's explanation of the parameters for this kind of establishment, it just boils in Kisumu West. The way he's explaining the airport, the space, the water, the infrastructure in terms of highway, there's no highway there. So I'm just wondering what the task force was doing, because from his explanation, I just get the picture it is Kisumu West, where we have all that you are explaining. So we just want to know, the task force had a mandate. It TOR on how to establish such. I know we are in an advanced stage, Chair, but let us just be convinced on how we ended up there so that we get the clarity, because I'm seeing a problem when this report will be tabled. I'm just seeing a big problem. From the explanation of the Chief Officer lands, it ends in Kisumu, where somewhere at Tiangere or beyond Kisian, somewhere there. When this issue of Gluck must have played a role, and it has to come out. Because for me, anything else is null and void. The only thing why we ended up there is because of Gluck, nothing else. Thank you.
James, you want to say something? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As you answer that, Bwana Chief, I also want to believe, because the Chief Officer Lands and Physical Planning has said that it was advertised. If it was advertised, I believe the specifications were put on why that parcel was needed. Can we just have a documentary evidence? We get that to see if those procedures, the due process was done, and if we settle on Gluck, were there any other entities that showed interest? Thank you, Chair.
Thanks a lot. Chief, as you are preparing to answer, I believe that you are realizing that the reasons that we are being given as to why we settled at that piece of land is not very convincing. It's not very convincing to us. Because if you talk about proximity to the airport, any area within Kisumu County is near the airport. Talk about availability of clean water. Are you telling me that some other areas don't have clean water that can be used in terms of manufacturing? Honorable Moses, are we together? Are you telling us that we don't have clean water in other parts of Kisumu County?
Chair, that is why I requested that he gives us a communication to that effect from either the investors or the task force, because even in my area I have a big highway linking Kisumu to Kisii. It is a highway, and in terms of water, my people are serviced with very clean water. So what we lack, I don't know what we lack, because from my ward to Kisumu Airport is barely 30 minutes. Now, are you telling us that such a project cannot be done with Kakamega? Such a project cannot be done in Kericho, where we don't have airport within? Such reasonings, I think they don't hold. Therefore, if it is true that you have that, kindly present it to the chair so that it forms part of our annex in the reporting. Otherwise, it does not hold.
I also wish you could have added the three-phase power supply. Is it that we don't have three-phase power supply in some other part of this county? Come on. Convince us, Chief.
Thank you, Chair. As we really appreciate
Use your mic.
Thank you, Chair. The department appreciate this level of engagement and interrogation of the whole process. It's only then that we will come up with something that's beneficial to the people of Kisumu. As mentioned by Dr. Kelly, the secretary to the committee that is handling this project from inception, we have been joined by a member of the committee, that professional committee that was appointed by the governor at the level of conception of this idea. And I want to kindly ask if you kindly could consider having Dr. Rai who has just joined us to give some insight into the initial stages and even to the extent of the decision to have the project where it is proposed to be. Chair.
Thank you. You said it's Dr. Rai.
Dr. George Rai, who up to recently was the CEO of Jaramogi Teaching and Referral Hospital.
Thank you.
He has just joined us and he has a lot of information and insight into what is going on. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. As mentioned, Dr. Rai, convince us why in your meetings you decided to have this plant established at where it is proposed now. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members of this August committee. My name is Dr. George Rai, the former CEO of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital. And I was with this project from the beginning. I was appointed by the governor to help coordinate internally the establishment of this pharmaceutical farm, among others, which one of them also included setting up the cancer center. And in the process of coordination, I'll give you the story. The governor was in touch with the investors who are ready to set up a pharmaceutical manufacturing farm. It took a lot of convincing and a lot of movement up and down between North Carolina and Kisumu. The team, which is ADITUS International, wanted a place that has the right mix of manpower, the right mix of infrastructure, and the right mix of marketing tools for access, like transport, which is the sea here, and the airport here, because the factory was being set for servicing the entire region of Africa. There was serious competition. South Africa made a bid, a very strong bid. Rwanda made a very strong bid, and we had to travel to Rwanda to see what their bid was. Kisumu made a bid, and Kisumu also was very lucky to have in Northern Carolina members of Kisumu community who are trying to convince this investment group to come to Kisumu. And after the team weighed everything, they said, okay, let us see Kisumu. So they came to see Kisumu. And these were the directors of ADITUS and associated groups, people who had a lot of insights in technology. They settled for Kisumu. They settled for Kisumu, and the next big thing was land. Do you have the land? They said, Kisumu said, yes, we have a special economic zone. They actually went with the team who are responsible for special economic zone to Miwani, the 3,000 acre special economic zone. And I guess the House knows up till today that that special economic zone issue is still in court. Now, in the face of competition, where Rwanda just gave him a red carpet. We give you land, we give you tax-free for several years, We have space. Come and start. It was very attractive. And Kisumu was struggling with the issue of land. The special economic zone, your honorable speaker, is up to now is unsolved. So time was running out, and they said, no, you see, when we came with this package, the package was industry and education. The lucky thing was that one of the board directors from Senegal had association with GLUC before. So he said, why don't we also have a word with GLUC? It was not just an industry. It was a complete package of human resource development in industrial chemistry and also production of medicines. So GLUC looked like a very attractive option to have it nearby because it would be used as an educational institution. And GLUC has actually in the process also started a faculty which they are working on right now for industrial chemistry. So we tried the first shot to look for a piece of land which was also near GLUC. We landed on a land which was 75 acres. But the encumbrances of that land was so huge, it was unbelievable. And time was running out. They are saying that you guys in Kisumu are not serious. So the governor actually negotiated his way with the nearest person to the GLUC and said, okay, why don't we have GLUC to seed 10 acres of land so that this factory can be built? So the process of seeding up 10 acres started, and this is what the plea was to get money and buy this land according to the land rates in that area. But it was ideal for many reasons, the infrastructural reasons, the service reasons, etc., the school reasons. So they settled for it. So the struggle now was to complete everything so that they start. And if you remember, the conference which took place at Royal City, where an agreement was signed. It was signed by Afrexim Bank saying, yes, we think that whatever you have shown are correct. Now we sign, they're signed. And when we had a meeting yesterday, that was Tuesday, they said that the loan release is just 3 weeks away. But they have to release it when everything is in place. The directors of ADITUS are becoming very afraid and anxious with the Kisumu project. And actually they are negotiating with Tanzania. And we only have this month to say we have concluded it and legally concluded it, and the assembly has accepted it. Then they will say, okay, we will come. But everything is ready, the drawings are ready for Kisumu, and we would do what they call the groundbreaking at the end of March, early April, on that site. This is, fortunately, the most advanced pharmaceutical factory in the whole of Africa, higher than South Africa. It is the latest technology from Germany, whereby manufacturing is continuous and you can do 5 million tablets a day. So with these reasons, number one, you are fulfilling your mandate as a government to be able to give people employment and industrial development. This would be the first industry that has been put in place post-independence in Kisumu. Now, I don't think there should be a struggle between relocating it to different places, because once we have that industry located on site, it is going to attract many more industries. For example, it will manufacture drugs. And number two, what we call active pharmaceutical ingredients, which they are going to start, which links with agriculture. If you know, most of the tablets you use cassava, special cassava, for whatever tableting is done. Where do they come from? China and India, and they want to set up this here in Kisumu. So there has been a lot of struggle to get these people to accept being in. The loan has been accepted, $40 million US, and it's only 3 weeks away to actually giving this loan when everything is aligned and is in place. So I think it would be an honorable duty for this August House to actually accept whatever is happening now, its location for the project is ideal for the factory. They have inspected it, they have done everything, they have brought in experts, and they have addressed people, and we did what we call public participation and successfully went through that. We even were called to make public communications to the rest of Kenya as a country. And I would like also to inform you that having been the inside person in this project, our neighbors approached these people that, why are you wasting time? We have land. They had land in Kericho. They even took us to Konza City to show us where everything is available. But this is a competitive process. We want it here so that our people may get jobs, may get training, and may be important in terms of export of commodities, in terms of medicine. And they're really going to specialize in several medical areas like cancer drugs, children's drugs. And I think it is my honored request, Mr. Speaker, that this should be considered and we shouldn't waste time.
Yeah. Chair, I have a concern. Chair, my concern is this.
Okay.
We've now gotten the real author. And as he speaks, is the person who sired the baby. And he's speaking, trying to draw our emotions by explaining a lot of sweet things. But actually, only an insane man would object a project of that magnitude. Not in this assembly. Not even the chair, not us, not even members who are not present today. Our concern is the process. And I think that is the area you should have concentrated on. Because we know pharmaceutical factory will come with a lot of goodies. Our people will be employed, will be getting drug at a closer proximity. It will be improving those areas where it will be constructed. But the process of arriving at this site is not convincing. One, Chair, this Gluck thing, I'm getting like, number one beneficiary will be Gluck. Because the children who will be trained there will be paying fees and doing the activities at the factory. What role has Gluck played? They are number one beneficiary, but still selling land to the government. That the Kisumu County government buy our land so that this factory comes next to us and enable us have facilities to train our students. You know where we are? If Gluck indeed was a partner, then we will have had 3 partners. Kisumu County as a government, Gluck offering the land, and the investors. But a situation whereby you are focusing on the benefits Gluck will be getting because they've started a new course dealing with industrial chemistry, industrial engineering, whichever, that confirms and affirms that they're number one beneficiary. What role have they played? That is what my one concern. Number two, there's a concern we raised here that a number of areas have land. If we want to leave Gluck aside, Why just settle on this? Could there have been a special interest? Then you just tell us there was a special interest from this end, so we don't need to go into that. But if there's no special interest other than what you're telling us, then you're not meeting the bidding. Finally, Mr. Chair, Daktari, don't blackmail the committee by telling us that they are negotiating with Tanzania. Our neighbors are talking of why waste time in Kisumu, and we have only 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and we are yet to do a report. 3 weeks, if it is 3 weeks, then it is dead. So don't blackmail the committee. We are here, we are doing pathfinding mission so that we come out with the clear facts. And once we do a report, the report will be tabled in this house. This house is not there. Next week we are not there. So when we are talking of 3 weeks, then it is like we are wasting time, Chair, because 3 weeks will not be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just speak it from where he left. A minute.
Can I just
Just hold it. You see, when you are telling us that we are left with around 3 weeks, then the money will be diverted. Yes. It's like you want to put us in a very funny, a very precarious position that it is the assembly that has failed the governor. If at all this conversation started in 2017, then you are bringing us on board last minute, 3 weeks. What are you trying to tell us? Number two, you mentioned something about public participation report. We need a copy of that public participation, a report of that public participation. And again, the very, very reasons that the Chief Officer for Land Physical Planning and Urban Development gave us are the very, very reason that you are giving us. You know me, I thought when Dr. Lucy gave you opportunity, you will give us some other reasons. But the very, very reasons that the Chief Officer for Land Physical Planning gave, the same reasons that you decided now to use very, very many words, but the same points. So come out very clear and tell us what is happening. There is something that is not coming very clear on settling on that piece of land. Now, you are telling us that the Nandi, our neighbors, Nandis are ready, very, very much, very, very ready. They are ready with the land. Why is Kisumu was not ready with the land? Yet we have several lands. Just be frank and tell us the reason so that we know how to embroider it, how to tailor it, so that members will understand it in our own language as legislators of this county.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, can I withdraw any statement which did not look right and apologize for that? But I thought I was giving you an independent historical account of what was happening with this project. And I thought I did well in giving the historical account and the process that we followed. And the process was to establish this facility in the right and designated space for Kisumu County. And it was believed strongly that the special economic zone existed. And it was in reports, in the press, all the times. And we took these people to inspect that special economic zone. The whole team came from the US. They saw it and it was so, first of all, it was undeveloped.
Chair, point of order, Chair.
Yes.
Chair, let me introduce myself. I'm Honorable Ken Ouku from West Kisumu Ward. I'm a member of County Assembly of Kisumu. Chair, I can see there's a lot of repetition on issues. He had talked about this matter. Why do you allow him to repeat himself? We want to move forward. Will we move forward really if we keep on repeating ourselves on issues? Now, we were talking about the agreements and all such kind of things. The Assembly is worried about some of the issues, Mr. Chair. You know, we have 3 weeks. He has confirmed. And I really sympathize with the other officers here. It seems they don't understand what is happening. From what is explained by the former chief officer of Jaramogi. Yes, yes. So really, we need to move. Surely we will not allow you, Bwana Chair, we will not allow him to whip our emotions. Could you please give out the facts so that we be convinced, because this is the eye of the house when it comes to this committee. We'll relay the same information to our people, to the members, so that we approve what is there. But the moment you talk about giving us the 2 weeks, 3 weeks, surely, how do you expect we get into this? It is like your vehicle, you have made your vehicle minus the assembly. Now you come here for the rubber stamping, which will not happen, really. You need to convince us so that we come to terms. Because it's a collective responsibility. It's not only your responsibility, it is also the responsibility of the assembly to be part of the exercise. So kindly, please, just go down and get us what we want. For one, you had some agreements which you did behind the assembly. You know what it entails. Kindly, please, where are those agreements? You have produced the public participation, whatever. Do you have some other agreements so that we be in par with what we are talking about? Or do you expect we just rubber stamp? Mr. Chair, thank you.
Chair, allow me to focus a bit. I think it's very clear that the only reasoning, as per what he has said here, was about the training bit that made them to settle on Gluck. And I just urge the committee, let us really focus on that, because any other reasoning will not go well with the assembly when this matter will be tabled. I was your vice chair, and I am telling you, I'm interacting with this the first time now for those 2 years plus. And it shows that the task force, the department, never involved the committee of planning in everything. And that's why we are in this situation now. So I would wish that we focus on the training bit that made it possible to be near Gluck. The only bit which Honorable Chele is asking, Gluck is a big beneficiary on this project, just as the community thereabout who are Kisumu County residents would be. But what are they bringing on the table? The county government is investing 22-point-something million on buying land from Gluck, who is a beneficiary. I think this is what we really need to focus on and find where is county government gaining in terms of our investment. This is a public resource, we are investing there. And we really must get a return. I know once they establish the factory, there will be land rates, there will be the permits, what have you. But as a county, who is a partner on this, apart from what the public will benefit in terms of employability and the rest, what is Kisumu County gonna gain vis-a-vis what Gluck is gonna gain? This is the weighing seesaw that we have to balance, and we have to see that we bring it to a table that we see at least as a county we are going to benefit hugely on this. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, what is your request, Honorable Moses?
I'm requesting that there are certain decisions that the committee can make independent of our guests. So the direction Honorable Jamo is taking, Honorable James Omolo is taking, is like preempting or trying to inform our guests that in my wish, I didn't take a stand, I'm with you. So as a committee member, you should not behave that way. That is unparliamentary. And Chair, I would like to request that we be furnished with the task force report. As we'll be going through, if we have it, then I think we'll get a lot of things from that report that will help us make an informed decision.
Thank you. On the same note, I'm also in a receipt of a report on the public participation forum on the establishment of pharmaceutical factory in Kisumu. And it is written very clear. Honorable members, it's written here very clear, the public participation report that I was asking for. The county government of Kisumu, in partnership with the Great Lakes University of Kisumu and with ADITUS Pharmaceutical Inc. in USA. Thank you. Waziri, do you have something to?
Yeah, thank you very much, honorable members and the chair.
Chair, before Waziri contributes, something is coming up very friendly. You know, the moment this amorphous engagement is done to fruition, and the company stands to start operating, then you'll find that as an assembly, which is to protect all the institutions in the county, will be like bound by that agreement that GLUC is kind of the owner in terms of training of that factory. But here we have Maseno University. They might also be interested in undertaking some of their classes there. So if this thing is binding the way you've read it, then we are locking out a number of institutions. And that is why I'm saying, if that will be the case, then GLUC must play a central role. Otherwise, we remove GLUC's name there, we remain with the factory, then we leave it open for any institution that is interested in utilizing it. So if the factory will be charging, let them charge GLUC, let them charge Maseno, let them charge any other university which is interested in learning there.
Yeah, very pregnant point. That is noted.
Yeah, chair.
Yes, Waziri.
Acting. Chair, thank you very much. First of all, I also want to make a correction from our colleagues on the executive. I want to believe you are the chair and not the speaker. So the statement speaker be replaced with the word chair. Having said that, Chair, I would also agree with the request that we provide the reports based on the task force reports that essentially will guide you. As again, I know you will sit as a committee as you come up with the final report. And the engagement and the conversation is bringing in very good inputs. And I think, Chair, your committee then would also guide us through your report that having reviewed this matter, we also expect the following ABC. I mean, I'm not preempting, but I think these are some of the things that we would expect from your report so that we implement because of your oversight role, that having reviewed this particular, we expect the following. GLUC to do ABCD. The county government to do ABCD. That way we will be guided, and I know we have no opportunity, we have no other reason but to implement the resolution of the assembly. In summary, Chair, we remain guided, and we want to agree that whatever advice we will get from this Honorable House, we will be able to implement.
Thank you. I think that is now very clear. You give us any other report that we may need before we convene a meeting of doing report writing over the same before we table to the assembly. I'm glad the way acting CEC is saying, is like he is preempting that we give our recommendation. Of course, you all understand that there's a recommendation that before we approve this report, there's a recommendation that will be attached to it. Are we together? Yes. I think we are done with this first subject matter. And in that respect, Dr. Lucy, if you don't have any other input, then I believe together with Dr. Kelly, we will release you and retain the Department of Lands, Physical Planning and Urban Development for the next agenda.
Thank you, Chair, for the quite professional way you have led this discussion. Within the discussion, you have made some asks, and one of them is that if we could avail some documents that relate to the processes, as Honorable Chele was saying. We have a file here, and if you can find favor in our request, we could make copies of all these meetings. Many meetings have taken place. Many things have been discussed by the task force. If you could, if you wish to have this document, made a copy to be exposed to the assembly, we are ready, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. You do photocopies and then send to us kindly.
Thank you.
Maybe tomorrow or thereabout.
Tomorrow, Chair, tomorrow will be very, much in order for us to expose you to the documentation.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time.
Ten minutes.